Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we discuss we're on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days, one lap of the distance around the world. It's a staggering 40,075 kilometres, and it's going to take somewhere in the region of 14 to 15 years to complete, so plenty of time to raise the huge target. I'll even do it barefoot style, and I'll do at least a minimum of 5 kilometres every single day. Those of you who are regular listeners will know that I vlog about my passions, which are entrepreneurship and running, and it is a beautiful morning today, very fresh but no wind, so okay running conditions but pretty cool for April. And it is a Saturday summary today where we talk about my journey as a serial entrepreneur. So as always, if you like this episode, please give it a like and a subscribe, and let's get started. So, weekly update. It kind of feels like this week has been a bit of a kind of very average week, but as always, let's go through each business, the highs and the lows, and let's see what has come out the back end of it to see whether it has actually been a positive or a negative week. So in no particular order, I'll go through my businesses, and we'll hopefully come up with a summary at the end. So Property Empire Investments, which is my deal sourcing business, it's been a productive week, to be fair. We've had a meeting with a management company who's going to support us in providing our own guaranteed leases. So we're looking at building we're almost becoming a lease broker now, as we already established previously that working with an independent lease provider hasn't really worked for us, because our growth is always going to be capped by the number of the leases that our lease provider will approve, and we've noticed a reduction in that, which has slowed our sales revenue. So in true entrepreneurial style, we've pivoted and identified that we've needed to make some changes. Hence, we've got other lease providers now on board, but actually by offering our own leases means that we can basically give a guaranteed lease on every deal we source, which is the golden chalice, really. Just going past person, hang on. Morning.
Morning.
So that's really positive. We had another sale, which is always good. Another £5,000 to hit the account. On the downside, we also had a 5k refund. So in actual fact, it's a zero net gain week, if that makes sense. Pure and simply that we've managed to we had somebody who just couldn't sort the finance out, so they couldn't complete the deal. And there's a lot of sourcing companies out there that will just say, oh, well, you should have known that before you began, and just said no refund. But that's not how we roll. So we gave the refund back as the right thing to do, and that's £5,000 down. So all the hard work in the sale kind of gets lost with the refunds. But it's beginning of quarter, so we're going to have a planning meeting the week coming up, and we'll be discussing our goals. We'll be looking at doubling our sales revenue for the next quarter, where we've been averaging one sale a week for the last several months, really. We're going to be starting to push for 2 sales a week. The other thing we've identified is that we haven't been focused enough on selling. We've almost been letting the sales come to us. So if we're going to grow, we need to start focusing more on selling. So it's going to be a more booking sales call type process. So we're building the funnel out to get all of our interested investors onto the phone, where we can talk about their investment requirements and discuss, hopefully send them stuff which is going to be relevant to them, and hopefully increase our sales conversion rates. So lots of changes going on in Property Empire Investments, but all for the better, and it's going to set us up for a big quarter where we're trying to double our sales revenue. So it'll be interesting to watch this space. Property Empire Builder, which is our 2 Squared Academy, our property education business. It's dropped to about 90 active subscribers, but we're revamping the program. So there's been a few weeks where we've been catching up with a new version 2 of the program, which we took feedback from the first beta testers. And the good news is the feedback's been amazing, but the bad news is because we've been so focused on redeveloping the program that we haven't been promoting it enough. As we're gearing up to a webinar launch at the end of April, our subscriber base has dropped by 10%. 10%'s a lot, but we know the reasons behind it, so we're not too alarmed at this phase, at this stage. So yeah, lots of things going on with Property Empire Builder, which is hopefully going to result in a significant increase of subscriptions come the end of April. So again, not overly alarmed at this stage. The next business, my property business. Well, the rent still hasn't come in on the block of flats that we leased to the long-term lease provider. However, I've had confirmation that it's coming in at the end of April now. So all backdated to the 25th of February when we signed the lease. So that's pretty cool. That's all pretty much set up and good to go now. Well, it has been set up for weeks, but payments have now been set up on their systems. They're quite archaic in getting things set up, but once it's set up, it's done, job done. So yeah, excited to kind of see the result there. The property business is actually, we've moved, I think, 3 tenants in, which has been a really high net gain this week. And when you look at it from a perspective, there's you know, they're about 700 to 750 quid each a month. So we've increased our recurring income by just over 2,100, just over. So it's a really good week. I mean, we won't realise that probably for 6 to 8 weeks, how long it takes Universal Credit to process claims. But when you look at it from that perspective, you have to say, you know what, that's really positive. So that's super cool. We then move on to the Social Media Academy. Not a lot's happened in that really, because my focus has been more on Runpreneur and all the setup there, but we have a meeting scheduled this week to map out the core structure and identify how it's going to be launched, what it's going to look like, etc. So excited to see how that meeting goes as we gear up to getting it all pieced together, ready for a soft launch at the end of April. So again, lots more things going on there, which is super cool, super exciting, but not a huge amount of progress. So a bit of a nothing week for the Social Media Academy. And the Runpreneur vlog and the running challenge of raising £1 million for children's charities. A lot of focus on that at the moment, building the websites, getting all of the social media banners changed, all of the About Me sections on all the social platforms updated, so that we're all completely ready for an official launch, which is going to be mid to late April, where we're going to launch the challenge and really try and get some big collaborators involved, try and give it some push, and restart this journey of this epic proportions. I'm 306 days today into the streak, consecutive days running, so I'm on the journey, which is enough to give people social proof I'm going to do this. But we're going to do a big launch to try and get some serious donations, if we can, towards the end of the month, and keep ticking those over as we move forward. So yeah, super excited about that side of things. On a outside of the each business perspective, there's been some good news. We had another new member of staff join the marketing team, which is super exciting. We've now got a full house, about 15 members of the team now in total, but I am very conscious that the actual overhead in relation to the group of companies is still very low. I'm working with the accountant on setting up the metrics to monitor and scrutinise revenue per head, so we can ensure we try and get as much return on our team as possible. There won't be any more recruitment for the foreseeable, as the next person that may come in will be when we start launching our paid advertising campaigns, but we're probably a few months from that at this moment in time. So we've got a full team, really, really good team, really excited to be working with these guys. They're a great bunch. They have the same values. They're about having fun with what we do, not taking everything so seriously, not putting too much pressure on each other, and really supporting one another. And the support they've shown for one another has been second to none, which has been truly inspirational for me, watching them help each other like they do. It's a real team starting to bond and gel together, which is really, really cool. The other thing is, it's the first week where the finance team have done all the payment runs, So no involvement for me on making payments this week, which is amazing. You don't realise it took about an hour a week doing all the payment runs. That's gone. That's 52 hours a year. That's 2 whole 24-hour days every year that's come back to me. And when you break that down into working hours, it's like 3 full working days that I get back over the course of a year just from outsourcing that task. So that's really, really positive. The other thing is there's 2 new business opportunities that I've been presented with, and I'm really keen to pursue both of them, which is scary, but there is a transitional phase. So as my involvement in the existing stuff starts to become less and less, as the systems and processes take control, I'm looking at the next 2 opportunities, and one is something which is I'm really excited about, which is a health related meal delivery service. It'll be in the local area that I'm from at the moment, but I've partnered with someone who used to be a Michelin star, well not, I think he worked in Michelin star restaurants as a chef, so super talented guy. He also was an athlete as well, and he got to British level at mixed martial arts, so he knows the importance of fueling correctly. So we're going to try and combine the 2 and be able to provide a meal plan for people to get exact nutritional levels of levels in their diet, because we all know that people think that, you know, fitness, you know, dream bodies and all that kind of happens with exercise. I mean, I do more exercise than most, but that's not the case. They say 80% of it's in the kitchen, so that's what we want to kind of provide. Also to busy entrepreneurs and busy people, structured meal plans of healthy, tasty food, and we'll start building out different options based on dietary requirements. So really excited about that. I love food, but I'm a notoriously lazy eater, so the thought that I myself will be fueled by this new model that we're looking to kind of launch, it'll kind of probably be mid-June before we start ready to launch. There's a lot of work needs to be done there, but super excited with that. The other opportunities come from my architect. He's one of my closest friends. He's done lots of development flips, and he wants to partner with me to kind of do the business infrastructure stuff. He'll find the deals, he'll do all the logistical quantities, costings, all that side of things, and I will be the one who brings the money to the table, sorts the business infrastructure and everything else. And with his track record, I'm really excited to be working with him on that. So 2 new things that have come to the table. So when you kind of look at it from that perspective, it's been an exciting week, but just when you look at, you know, people say in football management, we're in a results-based business. Well, the results are pretty poor this week. There's net 0 in Property Empire investments, minus 10% subscribers on Property Empire Builder. Property business, mind you, +3 or plus 2,100 recurring revenue, which always helps, so that's good. Social Media Academy, still making a net loss as we're paying overhead without a product that's launched. Runpreneur vlog, again, no additional donations raised as we haven't launched yet. But new members of the team, so increased overhead, but I see that as a big positive because I feel we've got a complete team. And then you look at it, all the financial payment runs have been outsourced now. Big positive. Gives me back 3 whole working days every year. Doesn't sound like a lot, but compounded over the course of time, that is significant. So really super cool about that. And 2 new business opportunities have come to the table. So I think on that basis, I would have to say it's been a average, maybe slightly better than average because of the exciting things that we're working on in the background. But in terms of results, very average, probably below average if we're being brutally honest. But that's it for me. Any questions on this, drop me a comment, I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. Do check out the links in my bios where you can see, where you can listen, watch or read my content. It's all sorted nice and neatly by playlist, so you can find relevant stuff super easily. And it's you can also keep up to date with my monumental challenge to raise £1 million for children's charities. So please do keep following the journey. All I have to say is that those of you who know me know that my content is always geared towards helping people overcoming the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety. by using exercise, or in my case running, as a release mechanism to kind of clear those daily, weekly stresses, from your head, process them, gain clarity, refocus and move on. If you don't have that process in place, it's like pressure building up in a pipe with no release valve. The pressure builds and builds and builds. It goes from stress to overwhelm, where when you're overwhelmed, you start seizing and procrastinating, not getting stuff done. The workload mounts up, and then you're into kind of anxiety and panic attacks. And believe you me, it's not pretty. We're into the realms of mental health issues, which clearly you want to avoid. Now, I've been there. I've lost businesses because of this. I've lost business partners because of this, and I've almost been bankrupt for my inability to manage these emotions. And I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. So there's no coincidence that since I found my release mechanism, which is this running vlog, in the last 10 months of doing it, I've made more progress than I have done in the previous 4 years. So if there's not enough social proof there, I don't know what else I can do to kind of show you. So my pledge to you is, if you are struggling with this, drop me a message. There's no catch here. Everything I do is value giving. There's no sale or anything involved. There's always the opportunity to donate to my children's charities I'm raising money for, but other than that, there's no fee required. I'll jump on a call with you and I'll give you some hints and tips that will give you a roadmap to get you back onto the right path. Now, I know this stuff works because I've done it with lots of entrepreneurs already, and it's made a significantly positive difference to their lives. So help is available. It often doesn't cost, and you just have to be prepared to ask for it. So on that basis, all that's left to say is, if you like this episode, give it a like, a comment and subscribe. If you want to see similar content, check out the links in my bios where you can watch, listen or read my information, and it's sorted nice and neatly by playlist, so it should be easy to find stuff that's relevant to you. And most importantly, keep updated with my challenge of run vlogging, the distance of 1 lap around the planet, to raise £1 million for children's charities. So all that's left to say is, stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.